Okay, the more I talked to Todd Bowles about whatever game plan that was on Sunday against Carolina, the less I understand what the hell they were trying to do. We had a chance to talk to Todd on Monday. It wasn't, really adversarial discussion, but I did want to revisit the whole we wanted to run it 30 times thing. And he made it clear that, in the two games last year that they played them, they did end up with over 30 rushes. In fact, in one case, I think they had more than 40. But in the second game, they were so far ahead. They scored, I think, damn near more than 40 points against them. So I was just trying to figure out, my whole point to the discussion has been you waited all this time to get Mike Evans, to get Jalen McMillan, to have Chris Godwin and all your guys together, Mecca Ibuka. And then when you did, you froze your own dudes out. You froze them out. I mean, they had a couple targets. Evans had 31 yards receiving, Godwin 30. McMillan had 15 yards, not catches, not targets. And Ibuka had one catch, and it went for 40 yards, right? But he only had one other target. And so, it was a concerted effort to just, pound the rock, run the ball, whatever you want to say about it. And they did run it, not as successfully as they would have you to believe, because one of those carries was for 40 yards by I think at one point. But it was definitely and there's nothing wrong with running the football. I just wouldn't do it to the exclusion of your other receivers. And Todd almost, kind of like he's like, well, we didn't have to get to it, meaning 30 carries. He goes, we wanted to. It was a formula for us that worked last year. Last year we had 40 and 39 rushes against them and 2 wins. When you win the game, it's different. When you lose the game, ... We were right there. We did everything we wanted to do. We controlled every category except for the turnover battle in the end, and we lost the ball game. So we tried to get the ball to our stars, but at the same time, we tried to establish a run game and make it balanced as well. I don't think you did try to get it to your stars the way you should have. And that's maybe just a difference of opinion. And I'm not a football coach, and I don't know, what offensive lineman can handle pass protection, or what, who he's protecting in terms of, not getting his quarterback hit, that sort of thing. But you clearly had your guys out there, and you've been waiting all year for this. You saw a glimpse of it last week, and it just didn't do anything. I mean, Mayfield was 18 of 26 for 145 yards, and that included the one touchdown to Mike. And if you take away that 40-yarder to Ibuka, Mayfield only averaged 4.2 yards per attempt. And this is what's been happening to their passing game. Even when they are throwing the football, it is for less and less and less yards. And that could be protection issues, right? The two guards being out, guys at his feet afraid to hold on to the ball. But it also could just be that, Baker doesn't want to take hits, that he's a sore guy, that he's beat up. And I think at least since he's been in Tampa, this sort of happens to him this time every year. He starts to decline from a statistical standpoint, and I think it kind of dovetails with the fact that the guy's hurt. That he's not maybe going to stay in there as long or whatever. I don't know, but the production at the end of the season is not what it is in the beginning or the middle. So something's going on. But the formula itself, great, run the ball. It brings a certain kind of physicality and all that. I'm all for running the football when you do it successfully. But I don't understand, when given a chance to have all these guys back, and this is all we've heard all season long, you're paying all this money. I mean, Evans and Godwin are earning $42.5 million. Tristans and Gadeke together are $50 million. You got Mayfield. Ibuka is a first-round pick. McMillan is a third-rounder. So you have all these assets over there. Like, you got to use them. You got to find ways to put them in positions to help you win games. And I didn't feel like they did that. And whether that was Josh's plan, Bowles' plan, both their plans, they better come up with a better one, because if this is what you get after 10 days off, I don't know what's going to happen when they get to Miami.
Well, here's the thing, and we've heard this for 3 years now from the coaching staff. You can't feed 3 running backs. It's hard to get them in a rhythm and a groove and a go, which is why Sean Tucker rarely plays, right?
You go with the hot hand.
So how are you going to get 4 wide receivers in a groove if you're not going to throw the ball?
Right. Oh, that's a great point. Yeah.
I mean, if all of a sudden you get all the guys back and now you're running the ball the whole time. Now, if some of it is Baker's hurt and can't really throw the ball very well, okay,
Yeah.
I get that.
We don't know.
Or he doesn't trust his line protection and everything's rushed. Okay. Those, and so there may be a good reason for it. And he's, if Baker's hurt, he's not going to tell you that, although we all know he is. To what extent, we don't know.
Yeah.
And exactly what all is hurt, who knows? I mean, the one problem with smaller type quarterbacks that run a lot or get hit a lot is they can wear down by the end of the year. Baker's not Josh Allen, who's huge.
He's not. He plays like he thinks he is. He plays like he thinks he's Brett Favre. Brett Favre was one of the rocked up guys I've ever stood next to. I mean, he was country strong. That dude was,
Yep.
big.
Now, in recent weeks, Baker has done a good job of trying to avoid hits.
Yep. Running out of bounds.
Yeah. Only taking hits when you have to, outside of getting sacked and you can't avoid it. But, he has done a better job of late, which is good. That's what you want him to do. It's always, Tom Brady's always talked about, and more not from running a ball, but throwing the ball. Like, you got to pick your spots when to take a chance and when not to.
Mm-hmm.
And running's the same way for a quarterback.
Sure.
Like, do I really need this extra yard or two at this position? Or is it first down and now it's going to be second, so let me just slide and save myself?
Yeah.
Or is it third down on a critical drive in the fourth quarter, and this is the game on the line? Okay.
Right. If you're doing in Houston, if it's 4th and 10 or whatever, and 4th and 15 or whatever it was that he picked up, I get it. He took a hit on his knee, and you try and touchdown, that sort of thing, or the game's over. Like, that's when you do it. But and I think he's trying. He ran out of bounds. He's trying to protect himself a little bit more. But it just I think he's at a point now where he's not as effective because he knows he can't take those hits. And that's even more reason to get the ball out of his hands, and you've got 4 guys. They can double Mike all they want to. There's going to be one-on-ones across the field, and you got Bucky on top of it. So I don't know. It just, anybody that says, hey, we wanted to run the ball 30 times, it's too, like, amateur.
Look, I think every team wants to run the ball 30 times.
Yeah, sure.
Because you're controlling the clock, you're controlling the game. Your offensive line gets to run block instead of pass block. Like, that's everybody's goal.
Yeah.
But it's not always realistic.
Yeah.
Last year against Carolina, a big lead. Of course you're running the ball every time.
Mm-hmm.
Great. But it's – look, you don't want to say they should get the win at Miami this week because they've lost, 7 out of 8 or 6 out of 7 and 7
6
out of
9.
7,
yeah.
Yeah, 6 out of 7, 7 out of 9 they've lost.
Mm-hmm.
And it lost to teams like the Saints and others. So, and this is on the road. It's not like it's at home either. So,
yeah.
But you'd like to think that, seeing how Miami's played of late, when you're playing, probably Quinn Ewers.
Right.
Like, they should get this W this week. And then that puts all the pressure on week 18, which is all you can ask for is a shot for the playoffs.
Then they've had this destiny in their hands now for about 6 or 7 weeks, man. Like, you can't change it, Now, if Carolina were to beat Seattle and they lose to Miami, this thing's over. There won't be a Carolina game.
That is correct.
So that's kind of where they're at. And then you contrast sort of the conservative, like, we're going to run the ball approach with defensively, where I personally believe that the running of the football is to keep his defense off the field, to try to sustain drives and time of possession, in which they did. You can't win with that. You don't get points for it. But I think that we're trying to do that. Okay, fine. I'll accept that. But then
that part I can understand.
Yeah, but then how do you go from I'm risk averse, right, with my defense or my offense, to, hey, you know what? They got the ball at the 22-yard line with 12 seconds and no timeouts, and they're 2nd and 2. I'm going to bring a zero blitz. Let's go. And I'm going to leave Jamel Dean one-on-one with, Ted McMillan, their best receiver, and he's going to have nowhere to go but to the end zone. I'm all in. Let's go. And all he can say is that, well, Dean should have played it better.
They were already in field goal range. Your job is to make sure they don't score.
Don't score a touchdown, right?
Doesn't matter if they get to the 2-yard line, whatever.
Now, if you can tackle them in bounds, if you can get a sack, if you can,
Even better.
then and run the clock out and they get 0, that's great. That's great. But you got to, at that point in your mind, concede the field goal to protect the end zone. You have to.
So who cares if they get an extra 10 yards closer? Like, they were already in field goal range. Like,
I mean,
you cannot give up a touchdown, period.
No. In that decision
prevent
alone,
defense.
In a close game, that decision alone was the difference in the game. He says, well, Dean should have played it better. Okay. He said the blitz, and this is why I like this too, the blitz should have gotten home, and he should have been in a different position. It was a bad technique and play on his part. The ball should have never happened. He was by himself. He should have been off and deeper, and we talked about it. He understands it, and he knows the situation. We do it all the time. Huh? You play man all the time, but like in that situation, when you're basically daring the guy to throw it in the end zone, I mean, that's where it was going anyway, either there or out of bounds. But like, you can play behind the guy, you don't have to play up on him, and that's where he's talking about the technique part. Sure, he played the wrong technique, but you still provided that opportunity by going cover 0. There was no safety over the top. There was nobody against their top receiver, I mean, they'll take that 10 out of 10 times. So would Baker Mayfield if you gave him Mike Evans one-on-one. He did it the other day. They were at the 1-yard line. He threw a fade or a back shoulder touchdown. He did not just run it in from the 1 because he liked the matchup. And you're inviting the matchup. I mean, how you do that and then say, well, we wanted to make sure we ran the ball and was really conservative here on this offensive side. And it's like, well, let's go get him. I don't know. It was a bad. There was bad coaching. He says all the time, we got to coach better, got to play better. Yeah, you got to coach better. You got to coach better. And yes, in the critical moments they could play better, but help them out a little bit. Like, don't make it so hard where there's no margin for error, and you have to have a 2-minute drive. When you say we had them right where we wanted them, kind of thing, it's almost like, yeah, we just wanted to have a chance to go down and win in the final 2 minutes, and we did. No, man, you scored like 40-something on these dudes last year at home. You want to smack them around a little bit and let them think about the fact they have to come down here. But they played a safe, careful game, and they lost to them. But I don't know.
It wasn't quite the same scenario because of playoffs and everything else. But that touchdown kind of had the Tom Brady to Scotty Miller feel to it.
It did. It's I think it's actually, aside from the fact that, it's not the playoffs, I think it's a great comparison because.
But it was right before the half.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it kind of turned some momentum in the game.
Sure it did. Gave them separation on the scoreboard. It was a little bit of a shock, It was a gaffe. And they were going to get 3, and they ended up with 7, and those 4 points wound up being the difference in the damn game. Like, it's not insignificant. When you're fighting in the playoffs and you're fighting for every point, you can't have that. And you just challenged them. You just said, you can't do that. I'm going to come after you and you're not going to be able to handle it. Oops, you handled it. it's just, I don't know. There's really no easy, sort of analogy to this. So you've been playing, $5 blackjack all night, and then you decide to take your mortgage and put it all on red in the roulette table. Like, wait, what? Well, I was gambling. I was already gambling. I gambled all night, so it's really no difference. Yeah, it's a big difference. You just lost your mortgage, man, on one spin. I don't get it, but maybe I never will. We'll see. No news on Reddick. He's still out for pictures, I guess, as they say. He'll get an MRI or something like that. Nelson will too. I have a feeling Nelson's going to be done for a little bit, but who's to say?
Was it a knee sprain?
Knee sprain for Nelson, yeah. And I don't even know what Reddick has, to be completely honest with you. Something with his leg. He's been injured pretty much up and down all season long. I mean, that was, they took a flyer on a guy, paid him $14 million, and it didn't work out. Okay, move along. Like, it happens. It would have been nice if, they spent more money on free agency and not just put it all on one guy and for a below market value for what his resume says. But they didn't give much help to the defense this year. They didn't spend much money. All the money, a good portion of the money is being spent on offense. So But there is, John Romano wrote a column about this today in the Tampa Bay Times, and I was standing with Tristan when he was talking to him. There is this sort of like, this is the stages of grief in the NFL, right? You lose a couple games and it's like, hey, man, we got to look ourselves in the mirror, right? And then everybody goes home and you're kind of tired of looking yourself in the mirror. So you break all the mirrors and you keep losing. And it gets to the point where it's like, man, I don't know what to tell you. And when it gets there, now you've lost it, right? Now they don't. Now they don't believe the coaches are putting them in the right. They're not going to say it. They're not going to say, "Hey, I think Coach Bowles needs to be fired." Like, no one's saying that, but they don't have the answers, and they're hoping that their coaching staff does. And when it keeps happening and they keep losing, they look around and they go, "Hey, it can't be us, right? Like, there's 53 of us here. We're not all bad, are we? You know?" And that's the stage of grief they're in right now. And somehow, if they could, they got to pull themselves together. Because I'm here to tell you, as I've said for a while now, I think Miami is in it to lose, and I think they're in it to have a better draft position. Hopefully, get a quarterback, one in particular at Indiana, and we'll see. But you got a great opportunity to win a game down there if you can, if you don't screw it up, and who knows if you win one, a little bit of momentum, home crowd, a lot of pressure on Carolina. You take care of business, you're back in the playoffs, and then okay, everybody's happy at least for 24 hours until you find out who you're playing. But it's all still right there for them. It's remarkable that they're going to Miami with a chance not only to win the division, but that part of it in their control. They just have to win the last two games, and that's really all they can ask for, given the way they've been up and down all season. So. No time to feel sorry for themselves. The schedule's all screwed up because of Christmas. Do you know it's Christmas this week? Like Thursday? It just
It
sneaks
is. I
up.
mean, we're 2 days from Christmas. 2
Gosh,
days.
man. And I haven't done any show. Well, I say any, and my kids have gotten some stuff, but like,
Well, the good thing is you can go to Brightland.
that's exactly what I was going to go. See, man, you and I, this is what you get after 2,000 episodes. Yeah, I'm going to go, and you should go to Breitling Boutique, International Plaza Mall. You know where that is, Breitling store, right above Santa's little shop there where he takes his pictures with the kiddos. Second floor, that's where you're going to find the Breitling Boutique. They've been there for more than, going on 6 years now. The Breitling company itself has been making the best Swiss watches for over 140 years, and they've got great watches for men and women. For the men, it's the Navatimers, the Chronomat watches they're known for. Women's, they have sports watches, incredibly beautiful, durable, and you get to choose from just a whole different array of colored wristbands. And while supplies last, that's the important phrase here. If you go to the Breitling Boutique, you're going to see a display. It says NFL. These are NFL team watches, 32 teams, 32 different team watches to commemorate the NFL's 104th year anniversary. And I'm telling you, they're spectacular. The one I saw in the window, saw one of the Jaguars, one of the Bucs. It's got the face of the watch is the team colors, the logo inside. You have to see these. They're just fantastic looking watches and collector's items to boot. It's Breitling Boutique, International Plaza Mall. When you go, please let them know you heard about it here on Sports Day Tampa Bay. Bizarre story. And I guess this was, first of all, if you're a player in any league, especially in the NFL, like it's hard. I know we talked about the things that Jared Vicious was being yelled at, back in the day when his son was battling for to stay alive, and he went to Philadelphia for the championship game. But you really have to put the earplugs in, because fans are abusive. They're going to say things. And apparently somebody said something to DK Metcalf that just set him off. Have you seen the video where he appears, depending on the angle that you see, to take kind of a punch at this fan?
Yeah, apparently he's had a history with this fan too.
Oh, he has. Okay.
That's
is this the Seattle guy that's always riding him, or I don't know?
Yeah, he had some history with him in Seattle apparently. But
okay.
And depending on what accounts you read,
mm-hmm.
either called him his full name,
yeah,
or said some racial things,
some racial stuff, which in any case is should get the fan thrown out. But the bottom line is sticks and stones, man. Like you cannot and should not engage fans anywhere, anytime about damn near anything. Now if your family's threatened or something like that, go get a security guard. But at the end of the day, it's like your job is to be the entertainer. You can't body surf yourself into the audience and start swinging at people. So he's going to get suspended regardless of what was said.
2 games.
2 games is what? And it's going to cost. I think I saw it's going to cost him anywhere from $500,000 to $700,000
Well,
or something.
it's without pay, so depending whatever his salary is, 2 games.
God, wow.
Now he is appealing it.
Yeah, I don't know if that appeal is going to go very well. I mean,
even if you get it knocked down to 1.
Get knocked down to 1 game certainly would help. Yeah. One of the guys you can appeal it to is Derek Brooks. Again, man, you can't be swinging at people. I'm trying to think, like, the biggest in my lifetime. Would it be the Pistons going up into the stands that time? Is that who it was?
Oh, the Melee at the Palace or whatever.
Melee at the Palace. Oh, Detroit. That was Detroit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's probably the most, like, egregious fan engagement I've seen. Violent fan engagement at that.
I've seen some old hockey ones. There was one where the
Bruins,
really? when Esposito was on there, that I think it was in New York, they got up in the stands.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, hockey players.
Phil went to the locker room, but the rest of his teammates was all fighting out the stands.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Smart. That's how you get to be in a Hall of Famer. I'm not going to go there and get busted up.
Hey, man, my job's to score goals, not to fight.
I would not want to be anywhere near a hockey fight. Them dudes got blades, sticks, all kinds of bad intentions, man. Don't get me in the audience with that. Ugh. That would be weird. But yeah, it's a strange story. There probably is some history there between DK, but you're probably going to play for a little bit. So we'll see what goes on there. Let's see. Monday Night Football. Old Man Rivers played again. Kind of fun at the beginning, and then you realize, man, San Francisco is so well coached, and they do more with less.
And Brock Purdy had a career night.
He did, yeah.
And if they win out, they're the number 1 seed in the NFC.
They're the number 1 seed. Isn't that crazy?
No, their 2 games are.
They're tough.
Was it Chicago and then Seattle? I think
Seattle, is one of them. Yeah,
it may not be Chicago. It's a tough. Next week's a tough opponent.
They have 2 tough opponents. Yeah. But still, man, I mean, Shanahan's still one of the best coaches, if not the best. But yeah,
Purdy did that with Brock Purdy. Missed how much time did he miss this year too? They did it with Mac Jones.
Mac Jones won 5 games. Didn't just play well. He won 5 games. Yeah, and that's how you know you're getting good coaching, when you take a guy that everybody thought had talent coming out, just bounces around a little bit. New England can't win, and then bam, as soon as he goes to San Francisco, the light bulb goes off, and it's coaching. I mean, coaching is so important in this league. It's to me, it's a coach quarterback league predominantly, but obviously the better the staff and all of that. But man, Shanahan, if they win that division, which is arguably the best division in football. That's a statement.
Well, the Rams, Seahawks, and Niners have already clinched playoff berths, all 3 of them.
Yeah, I think damn near everybody in the NFC has. I think. Or a lot of.
I think there's 1 spot left up. Well, the NFC South champ first.
Obviously, the NFC South, but I think the other, in terms of just making the playoffs, I don't.
Because the Lions still have a shot.
Yes, that's true. Although they're slimmer all the time.
Yeah, it's getting slim. It's getting slim, but the Lions have a shot. Yeah, it's down to Green Bay and Detroit for the last spot, and then obviously Carolina, Tampa Bay. For the NFC South. Yeah, so not many.
Well, it'll be fun when it starts. You don't ever really know what's going to happen in the postseason. I think home field is an advantage, but it's not the ultimate one. And it's kind of who's playing well. And that's what I would say about the Bucs, that even if they make it, they would have won 2 in a row, which is a bit of a little mini streak, and then a big win over Carolina to get there. But I don't know that that's enough wind in their sails, to carry them past a wild card game with, say, LA, the Rams or something. But
right now it'd be San Francisco if the playoffs started today.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And that not that you'd welcome it, because you beat Mac Jones and barely, and now you got Brock Purdy coming in here with a head of steam. But of the teams out of that division, I would think that you'd want to play San Francisco more than the other 2.
Yeah, if you're the 4 seed, which most likely they will be.
Yeah,
I think there's still a shot they could be 3, but
yeah, it's remote. Yeah,
but if you're the 4 seed, then you're going to play one of those NFC West teams.
Yeah,
LA, Seattle, or San Francisco.
Mm-hmm. And then if you win that, you get maybe the right to go to Chicago and freeze your butt off. You took us, because don't sleep on the Bears. They're a complete team. You know who's a good team, or was at least on Monday night, was your Tampa Bay Lightning. 4-1, ho-hum kind of victory. very solid.
Scored 21 seconds in.
Yeah, right. No, they were
got off
down
to a hot start. So
yeah, it was 1-0 right off the bat, and then 2-0 at the end of first, I think. But
Yep.
Skated well, played well. Now, are they on the Christmas break right now? Was that their last game?
Yes, they're not back till Saturday the 27th. So NHL
Got it.
actually shuts down
That's nice.
the 24th, 25th, and 26th. There is games tonight in the NHL. The Lightning don't play, but
Yeah.
and then they shut down for 3 days and resume on Saturday.
Meanwhile,
Lightning will be at the Panthers Saturday, and then they host the Canadiens Sunday.
Oh, they're down in South Florida. Okay.
Mhm.
The NFL goes the other way. You know, it wasn't enough that Christmas belonged to the NBA. The NFL tried to steal it, and so they got these Netflix games, and they're all because of injuries to quarterbacks and the like what is it, like Kansas City and Denver or something? Like they're all dreadful games.
Yeah, well, Kansas City's going to be on their third string quarterback now?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's not gone well. And that's the danger of, locking in games late in the year.
Mm-hmm.
You think but you don't know. And in this case, I don't think the ratings are going to be that high, and I think they're going to be disappointed with the kind of money they paid because of that.
I think the ratings will be good. I mean, they're not going to be as high, but they'll be good.
It's still
the NFL, and it's still Christmas Day, and nobody's got anything to do.
Yeah, kind of like Thanksgiving, I guess, in a way. But yeah.
Exactly. I mean, you're not working.
My TV will be on. I don't know how Nielsen does it with meters anymore. I don't know how they take track of it.
Of course, these are on Netflix.
These are subscriptions. Yeah.
So they know when you're streaming it, when you're not.
Yeah, that's true. They do. They got your whole viewing history, basically.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Yeah. Well, it's been. I've continued to watch. Like, I'm starting to go through the episodes with the Bucs 50 year. I talked to Trent Cooper. It's funny. Trent calls me today, and I thought, oh boy, what is this? Something about the movie or whatever. And he goes, "What the hell's going on with the team?" Oh man, I don't know. He's such a fan. He goes, "Tell me they're going to be okay. They're going to win, right?" And I go, "I don't know." Like, I was in that locker room yesterday, man, and they look like every team I ever covered for about 12 years in 12-year increments, where they had double-digit losing seasons once, and 5 coaches in 10 years. That's what losing feels like. It's just a bunch of guys, in an elevator not making eye contact. It's like they just don't know. After a while, you don't know what to say. After a while, you've heard that the coach has gotten angry, and he's launched profanities, and he's told you to look in the mirror, and he's challenged your manhood, and like, they're exasperated. You're exasperated. You don't want to talk about it anymore. It's not fun. So the only thing that cures it is winning. They need to win a game. They need to find a win, have one more point than Miami on Sunday, and you'd be surprised how fast things start to change. The food will start to taste better. The sleep will be a little deeper, like all that. And that's what they and oh, by the way, I think Miami wants you to beat them. I truly do. I don't think they go to a number 3 quarterback if they're serious about winning. But you can't prove that either, but I've seen it before in Tampa.
Do I think the organization wants to? Yes. Do I think the players on the field want to lose?
No. They'll fight their butts off because they're professionals, and they're playing for jobs this year, next year, and beyond.
For next year and contracts and whatever else. But
right. But if if the other team is more talented and doesn't just hand the game to me, if I have the less talented team, there's a high probability that I'm going to lose, especially at the quarterback position. It's just tough. If you can't beat Miami now, come on. Miami, though, is going to run the ball. You better be ready to play the run, because that's one thing they have done consistently against everybody. And, it could be a situation where you're the one on the other side of 30 rushes and never get the ball, and, time of possession is skewed and all that. So you don't want that situation. But, man, we'll be down there before you know it. Christmas comes. The Bucs are going to practice today, which is typically their day off on Tuesday. They'll practice on Wednesday as well, Christmas Eve. They'll take all day Christmas off, come back. Friday will be like a Friday, and then they'll travel to Miami and play on Sunday. So a little different schedule if you want to check out what's going on in the Tampa Bay Times and on tampabay.com. Finally, we'll end on this. Maybe the least surprising headline I'd seen in a while, which is USF quarterback Byrum Brown entering the transfer portal. You don't say. I thought he was just coaching in the bowl game. Turns out he's leaving after the bowl game. Where do you think he's going? Show of hands. Mine's up. I'm going to say Auburn, perhaps.
I think there's a good chance of that. I don't think it's a done deal. Because I think Alex Golesh is going to look at what options are out there and what's the best option.
Okay, second answer. The team that pays him the most money. $1 more than the next guy. That would
no,
be
but I'm saying Alex Golesh is going to go for the best quarterback he can get to try to win there. I mean,
No, I think he will. Yeah, Alex is, he can recruit 5-star guys now. He's at Auburn. Sure.
Yeah. But I meant, what other quarterbacks are in the, is Rocco Becht?
He is.
Does he think he's going to be better than Byrum? Would he try to get him to come? That's what I'm saying. Is that,
yeah, he could. Sure. Yeah, there's going to be competition for sure.
I think Golesh would love to have Byrum Brown there, but if there's a better quarterback out there he can get, I think he'll go get him.
Right.
Only problem, you're in the SEC. You've got to get the best players you can get.
These decisions, though, I would think get made fairly quickly once they say go. I don't know.
Well, the transfer portal opens January 2nd. So
feels like musical chairs a little bit to me, right?
Yeah, it's essentially what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like if I'm a school and I'm after Byron Brown, I'm gonna say, hey man, I gotta know and I gotta know right now because we gotta move on to the next guy.
But the other part is we don't know who all is going to be available yet.
That's true. Although more and more come out and announce it, don't they?
They're starting to. But for instance, Bryce Underwood's at Michigan.
Ooh,
we don't know who their coach is yet.
Don't you be losing Bryce Underwood at Michigan, man.
But depending on who the new coach is,
you
don't know if he's staying or going. I mean,
well, Kalen DeBoer screwed that up by winning the first round playoffs, in my opinion.
Yeah, potentially. Although there's still some at Michigan that think they can get him.
I still think they can get him. I'm telling you that if he loses, I still think he'll go.
Even if he wins the whole thing.
Less likely if he wins the whole thing, I believe. Although it'd be a hell of a walk-off, wouldn't it? Hey, guys, really enjoyed my time here at Michigan. Here's your national title. I'm off. Or at Alabama, I'm off to Michigan. Bye. What a flex. That'd be awesome. I'm going to take this all the way to Ann Arbor. See ya.
But, yeah, you are starting to get a lot of players now announcing they're going to transfer or, plan to enter the portal.
Yeah. Well, we knew DJ Lagway announced a while ago.
Correct.
That's another one that's curious. Like, where would he go?
There was a freshman quarterback in North Carolina announced he's leaving. By the way, you see who the offensive coordinator at North Carolina is?
The new one that Belichick hired?
Yeah.
No, who?
Bobby Petrino.
Well, those two crazy guys can talk about all the frat girls, can't they? Wow. Yeah, a lot in common there, man. You remember when Petrino he got really good and hot coming out of Louisville, right? And then he went to Arkansas, and that's when that scooter thing happened or whatever.
Well, when did he go to the Falcons? Where the timeline was the Falcons?
That was somewhere between Louisville and maybe Arkansas. I don't know.
Yeah, I think he left the Falcons for Arkansas, right? Is that how it worked or whatever?
It sounds like that's how it went. I just remember Warwick Dunn, who is, if you don't know much about Warwick, watch this documentary, Raise the Flags. But Warwick Dunn, who I swear to you, I've never heard the man say an angry word about anybody, right? Just wouldn't do it. Wouldn't come out of his mouth. After Petrino, his whole anthem with the Falcons was finish, finish. He had all these slogans and signs everywhere, finish, right? And they come to work one day, and there's like notes that have been, copied and placed carefully in each player's locker. And it was Petrino telling everybody he was grateful for their efforts, and even though there was two games left in the season, he was had to make the tough decision that he was off to his next college job. And I've never heard Warwick before or since go off on somebody like that, but you could not play it on this podcast. He was like, what a hypocrite, basically. The dude that told everybody to finish pretty much decided not to finish and just took off in the dead of night. But, yeah, wow, Petrino, really? Whew, goodness gracious. No, it could work. Billy needs players. I know that. I wonder how much fun do you think he had coaching in college? Any? Some? None?
We're on to the offseason.
Yeah.
We're on to the transfer portal.
We'll never know. We'll never know. Pablo Torre knows, but we'll never know.
How much fun do you think Jordan's having?
Jordan.
Isn't that his girlfriend's name?
Oh, yes. Probably more than him. I don't know. Chapel Hill's a nice place to live. Probably assimilating well with, all the people her age, which is roughly post-college graduates. I don't know. If the stuff you read is true and they deny everything, that she's been banned from this or that, that can't be fun. That's got to smart a little bit, There's still a part of me that thinks, no one's going to take him on as a head coach because of everything comes with him, including his assistants and front office desires as well. But man, you can't tell me that there's 31 dudes that are better coaches than that guy in the NFL level anyway. Now, maybe the game's past him. Maybe he can't assemble a staff, like all that. But I'm still a little surprised. There's not one NFL team that wouldn't want to take a flyer on Bill Belichick just to see, right? He is older, and you do get Jordan.
The problem is that he wants to control everything.
He does.
If you're a GM,
you're not going to hire the guy who wants to take your job.
Yeah, wants to eliminate my job.
Exactly.
Well, that makes no sense.
No, and I think there's a lot of that. I mean, I know there is. He's just too much of dollar bill there.
And then you get the baggage of his girlfriend and whatever else.
Sure.
And how much she's actually involved, I don't know, but
yeah. Yeah, the least thing you worry about is whether or not he can coach, right? But everything else that comes with it is kind of a pain. So, well, this team in Tampa needs to be coached better. Like I said, I'll be out at One Buck Place talking to the Bucs pretty much this morning. I think before they're going to have a walkthrough sometime before 11. So no practicing like they did last week. Not that it helped them. Apparently, it did not. So you're going to go back to the walkthrough format, and then they'll practice on Wednesday, and then off on Christmas Day, folks. Get on down to Breitling Boutique. I know you're down the last few days, like me, no gifts for your loved one. Go to Breitling Boutique, check out the beautiful watches for men's, women's watches as well, and the NFL collection while supplies last. It's Breitling Boutique, International Plaza Mall. Let them know you heard about it right here on Sports Day Tampa Bay. Thanks for listening, everybody. For Steve Versnick, I'm Stroud of the Tampa Bay Times. Have a great day.